Okay, welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to look at a brief overview around the psychology of fat loss. Very brief. We could go on for hours with these videos, but hopefully you followed me for long enough that you probably understand in the context of things. Ironically, the psychology of change and behavior change is often overlooked, even though fat loss in itself is about changing behaviors. There's numerous ways people slip up, or people kind of set themselves up for failure when they don't understand some basic aspects of behavioral change. One of those is trying to change too many things too soon. It's a cliche. I hate saying it, but it's just so true. I need to find another cliched and popular way of saying it, but we can't change too many things. Ideally, we want to change maybe one or sometimes two things, and then once they're automatic, we can move on to the next. Now, the studies they've done on how long it takes someone to change can range from 14 days all the way up to 365 days. So it will depend on how complex the habit is, maybe other stuff that's going on in your life that may take your mind off it. You as a person, there's going to be individuality when it comes to that, how resistant someone is to change, and other roadblocks. There could be many. What I always say, and we always want to relate our psychology back to the nutrition and training aspect. How can we fit it in a way that we're going to set ourselves up for success, rather than like most people do, especially this time of year, they'll change everything, overhaul the whole lifestyle, and then something's going to come up, or they're going to burn themselves out and go back to normal, or when their motivation drops off. The obviously most important aspects of a fat loss plan is a nutrition and is increasing some kind of activity. We'll start with someone's nutrition, and we just want to slowly pick apart the person's nutrition and replace habits in there of certain foods. And by that person tracking the food, and they'll get their awareness of what they need to change as we go. One thing what we need to be aware of is you can't stop doing a habit. So they always list out the things they need to stop doing. We can't stop doing a habit because the habit loop is already there. You face it, the trigger of the habit, you will automatically carry out the habit. So we need to replace the behavior with something else. So look in relation to nutrition and what's the easiest possible way to make a change that will give me the biggest possible result. Like we use the example with the calories. Someone could be eating McDonald's 3 times a day, and instead of overhauling a whole lifestyle, we will slowly go, okay, that person's having a Big Mac, they're having large chips and a large Coke. Or if we get them to have a Big Mac, small chips and a Coke Zero, we just save them a few hundred calories. It's a small behavioral change, and it's allowing us to lose fat like we wanted, to lose the amount of weight we wanted. Going forward with that, we could keep that nutrition and then slowly start to increase our steps, and then we could maybe add some vegetables with those foods and slowly move towards more quality food as we go, and slowly move towards being more active. So that, for some people, that may be a big enough change to start with, and then a few weeks down the line, or a few months, then we start to look at maybe adding some kind of resistance change in. You're always just looking where that person is that in that moment in time, and then slowly move along the kind of conveyor belt of habits all the way to maybe what we deem as more optimal. So just be aware that changing too many things too soon will set you up for failure. I think they've seen changing more than 2 habits increases your rate of failure by 70-80%, something crazy like that. And we could probably all testify to that. So when it comes to habits, it is also beneficial to set yourself the goal of changing really small, easy habits. Now, I know we said change the habit is going to give you the biggest possible return, but if you can kind of interact with that's something that is so easy for you to change, your motivation is going to be higher to change, and it's going to be easier to carry out that tiny habit. There's actually a book on tiny habits around here somewhere by BJ Fogg, and one of the reasons he says is not only is it easier to get yourself in the groove of setting themselves the goal of a really tiny habit. So for example, instead of someone doing a workout, they might set themselves the goal of doing 10 push-ups. It's easier mentally, and obviously at the start of a plan, which we're going to touch on, motivation is very high, but when that motivation dips, it's harder to carry out the same habit as we did at the start because our motivation is lower, so it's harder to do. Look at that as well. On the topic of motivation, we also want to be aware that motivation will dip as we go. We just have to accept that. So in combination with not setting habits that are too out of the realm to be able to do when we're going to feel unmotivated, because you have to think, I'm motivated now, but how am I going to go carrying out these habits I set myself when I feel unmotivated? Novelty, when we start a new plan, motivation is always high. It will dip after a few weeks. One of the other reasons where we set ourselves too many goals to change, it might be realistic to carry out when a motivation is sky high, but when a motivation drops, it's not realistic at all. Realize that motivation will drop. Set yourself up psychologically that it will drop. So when we get to the point where we're trying to carry out our habits and we don't really feel like it, you'll have kind of mentally rehearsed to that fact. When we get to that stage, our main goal is to get to the stage where our habits are becoming automatic. To be able to do that, again, on average, it takes 66 days, but we need to go through a patch of carrying out the habit repetitively. Repetition, just like in the gym. But to do that, we need to carry out our behaviors when we don't feel like it. And that's why people have the mindset that we need to make sure we're focusing more on discipline, which is taking the emotion out of it and just doing your behaviors and habits whether you feel like it or not, rather than wait until you feel like it to do it, because that's never going to happen. Again, think of how many times you go to work if you felt like doing it, versus you're disciplined, you go even when you don't feel like going. So some aspects of behavior change, psychology, and also the mindset we want as we go. When you're looking at progression of habits, look at the ease of which you're doing them. As you start to do them, carry them out more automatic without as much friction, then you're along the line. So just keep going until you get to the stage where you don't think about it and you do your habit. Then you're on, and then we can focus on something else. So we're slowly starting to pick apart someone's lifestyle as we go. It's also, on a side note, why if you look at people that get unbelievable transformations on Instagram, they're normally people already in the fitness industry, because it's not big changes to their lifestyle. They already eat healthy most 99% of the time. They already train every day. They already do their steps. So it's easier for them to tweak a few things, versus if we're starting here, we need to move ourselves along the spectrum of that behavior change and slowly pick apart our habits. Other ways we can kind of reinforce when we get to the stage when our motivation drops is obviously get some kind of accountability, whether that's a coach or it's accountability buddy. I do tell people to buy into something, buy into a good coach, because that forces them to do it even more. Set your environment up for success. So if you're trying to eat a certain way, make sure your environment is congruent with that. Don't have an environment like we talked about before where you're trying to eat good but there's bad food everywhere. Make the good habits easy to do and the bad habits hard to do. So look at your environment, look at your food environment, look at your environment. If you're trying to train at home, is it set up to carry out the habit easily, or is it very hard? And then construct your environment away so it's slowly guiding you towards your goals as well.